Hey, I'm live. This is Eve Hennessy, author of Detox with Ease. I healed myself of multiple chemical sensitivity maybe like 10 years ago. I was always into health before that, and I've been into different healing modalities throughout my life. But when I got sick like that, it's this incurable illness that's caused by toxins and other issues. I all I did was I was very sick. I was tired. I was afraid. I had never met anyone who had ever been cured, and I couldn't find anyone on the internet. So, I worked very diligently to try to get well from this illness. And that's when I laid in bed and read, books, internet, and experimented for some years until I finally got well. So I'm just here helping other people. Non-medical advice. I am not any kind of doctor. But let me just say something about that. I was kind of having a hard time with doctors, which is true of a lot of people who have chemical sensitivity or some kind of illness where you go to the doctor and they don't even listen to you, and they just look at you and they think you're crazy, and they really disrespect you. I mean, that was my case. I know that there's other people with other experiences, but, back then nobody had chemical allergy, it was just out of the question. So, and my doctor, her name was Dr. Kurana from George Washington University Hospital Center. I actually finally wrote a letter to her saying, I've been trying to get well. I'm very sick, and you won't help me at all. I was angry. I was like, I have to be my own doctor. Why do I have to be my own doctor? And she wrote me back saying that I was no longer her patient. Then what happened after that? I went to another place and I said, oh, I have this chemical sensitivity. And they're like, oh, we never heard of that. And then I was always like, well, can't you Google it? No, I can't treat you. And then, so I asked for other doctors in this one place, this one clinic. No, my boss, nobody wants to work with you just to be a GP because you have this thing, we don't know what it is and we don't want to deal with it. So then after that, I never told my doctors that I had multiple chemical sensitivity because I just really needed a doctor. Doctors are amazing when you need them. So actually an amazing thing happened. I had this one doctor and she actually got multiple chemical sensitivity. So that was, it was bad for her, but it was good for me because then I could actually get doctor's notes to get my carpet removed from my apartment or certain things that I needed. There were some other issues I had. So that was good. Yeah. So, and my doctor now, I kind of hint around, but I think I'm going to really just put it on my record. That way, when I want to avoid certain kinds of chemicals or toxins, and I have sort of a legal right to it. I think it's good to be wise with your medical records and have things written down, for if you need to use that information for something. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? That was doctors. So yeah. So another thing about doctors too is because a lot of people you'll see, they'll go to naturopaths and they will spend many, many thousands of dollars on naturopaths and holistic doctors. But the thing is that holistic doctors also, I have not known any to really understand chemical sensitivity either. And they're very expensive. And they are like other doctors. There's the doctor paradigm is that, the longer your patient's sick, the more money you make. So it's not, it's not that great of a system. So, and then also when you're a doctor, you have to give confidence to your patients, and your clients that you know what you're doing. So, they can't just be like, oh, I don't know, let me look into that. Or, some doctor, they try to give me some allergy medicine and naturopath. It would have cost me thousands of dollars, and I don't know, some people it's helped. And just this is going to be a lot about chemical sensitivity because I think that's mostly my niche. I can talk about anything, but there's nobody here, so I'll talk about this. Because also, if you have it, I don't think there's any, I don't know who's doing videos out there these days, but now you can find videos on everything, tons of even neural retraining, tons of organic, tons of detox. Thank God. I mean, I love YouTube. That's why I'm here. Let's see. Chemical sensitivity. Doctors. I have to say at least once every video that I got a very severe concussion. And sometimes don't remember. I'm getting much better every day. It was a very bad concussion, and luckily I knew a ton about healing the brain and the nervous system. Otherwise, I'd be a bit of a vegetable right now, I think. Because even my concussion doctor, I had a concussion doctor, right? I'm not here to complain about doctors. But I went to her and she told me what to do, but then I left. I completely forgot what she said. And then she had stuff on a paper, but I couldn't read. I don't know. Some of these experts, they don't have your basic common sense. But she was a very highly, she was an expert concussion doctor. So she knew some stuff. She just didn't know how to deliver it in a way that it was useful. So here's the thing about chemical sensitivity, at least with me, is that it's a very complicated, complex illness. I've known a lot of people to do a lot of treatments. Some people get well for a while and then they get worse, and some people don't get well, and some people react to whatever it is that the people are giving them. I mean, this illness has so many different ways of manifesting, and each person is really different. So that's one reason I wasn't giving a lot of advice for a while, is because I was afraid of hurting someone. Don't take my advice at all, and don't ever do anything. Like, if you're very sensitive, you have to really gauge and think about what you're going to do before you do it, and then just do the tiniest amount. Somebody says take 10 tablespoons of lemon juice, take like 2 drops. Especially, I mean, some people are so sensitive. There's this one she was the most famous MCS person at the time. It was like when Facebook first started. It was Rhonda in Australia. So I talked to her on the phone, and I see her now and again. She had a very bad chemical sensitivity, and there was a famous place in Texas where you go and get tested for all this stuff. She was allergic to salt. She could only drink vodka. And it sounds crazy to people, but you know what? It made sense to me. Vodka can be very pure, and somehow it helped her. But she got a lot better. She's doing all right. She was pretty sick. And there's some people that can only eat one thing. There's a lot of people like that. I never really got into food allergies and intolerances. I just was intolerant with the chemicals. So back to about doctors is that also the way the system works is that, when you go to the doctor, you just want them to give you something and you go home. So it's not the doctor's fault. It's not even the system's fault. It's everybody's fault, because most people are not going to do what you tell them to do. Like, basically, that's why I write a book. That's why I made my blogs. Basically, I feel like if you really want to get well, you have to deeply educate yourself on, whoops, my light went out, on healing. And, just to really educate yourself on healing many different systems of the body. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of discipline, and most people are not ever going to do it. Most people are content just to be really unhappy and just live with it, So, doctors. Yeah, I really don't think naturopaths, I don't have a huge faith in them. There might be 1 or 2 out there. But basically, I always feel like there are people who just, feel like they know everything, and they're selling their supplements. They all have their pet healing modality, and they kind of give that one out. I mean, I don't want to say all. I'm sure there's great doctors, but that was my experience, and I don't know of anyone who's gotten well with the help of a naturopath. And I want to say one thing also about my doctor who got chemical sensitivity. She had breast cancer. I had another friend who developed chemical sensitivity who also had cancer. So there's so many reasons why we could have this. And I was even thinking today, it could be like if you had a brain tumor, it could hit a certain part of your brain that that made you overreact, to your nervous system, to toxins, or, somebody wrote me, she had a thyroid issue that she finally resolved. And she was like, for 30 years, she was just trying to heal the chemical sensitivity. But really, the chemical sensitivity was more a symptom of her other condition. So it's super complicated. The only thing is just never give up, and just keep going until you get well. But don't rule anything out, and get as much help as you can from doctors, of course. Just my doctor, she wouldn't test me for anything. Turns out to be issues with my insurance as well. I would get tested. All of my blood work was always great. I never had any issues at all. That's why they really would not engage with me at all. I mean, I still to this day have like a perfect record. I think after the concussion, I need to get a new physical. I think, in light of that was a super hard hit on my body. It affected my heart, my blood pressure, it was crazy. I think it's good now, but for a while it was a mess. And so hopefully all my numbers are good, but they've always been good, but yet I was sick and dying. So you might know how that is, they wouldn't test me for metals, different things. Well, this is my guilty pleasure, drinking these stevia stuff. I probably would not have drinking this much before, back when I had chemical sensitivity. One, I didn't like drinking out of cans. You'll probably see it in my blog. Okay, don't drink out of cans because A, it's metal. B, usually they're lined with some kind of plastic. C, who knows what kind of water they made this natural soda with. Could be anything. It's not optimal, but you know what? It's probably all right. I have a problem with chemical sensitivity. I do keep very healthy. Let's see. I think I'm going to go soon because I have this course, which I am giving in a few minutes. Smash the likes, hit subscribe, hit all. Put a comment in there. Email me your email. I can put you on my mailing list. One day I might mail something to someone. I go well, Took me a while to turn a corner. Once you turn a corner, I just started getting better and better. Once I realized I wasn't that sick anymore, I had to really just deal. I mean, I always, of course, was keeping detoxed, and I still am to this day, but I had to really deal with the brain, the nervous system, and the emotions, because if you have ever had multiple chemical sensitivity, you do have PTSD. Like, if you see a chemical, like you go by someone, you see like asphalt, even to this day, if I see like they're paving a road, I'll be like, oh my God, they're paving a road, because before, them paving a road would mean I would be sick, for the rest of the day if I happened to drive by that and breathe that in. And, it's horrible. I mean, it is nasty stuff. I don't think it's anybody should be working with that stuff. But so you have to finally calm down your amygdala. So, with the fight or flight system that goes off in your brain is very central to most cases of chemical sensitivity. Anyone that reacts to the smells of perfumes and scents, that's neurotoxins. I mean, a lot of people get rashes, all kinds of other symptoms, but anyone who has that particular manifestation, which I do believe is most MCS, you have to learn how to calm that amygdala down, because anytime it sees a toxin, anytime it smells a toxin, anytime it hears the name of a toxin, it's going to go, it's in PTSD mode. So it's going to go off and send those stress hormones into your body, which could even cause a reaction, or you can have psychological reactions. That's one reason why a lot of people have a hard time getting help, because there's a certain number of the reactions which are not actually physical. I tested myself. I used to like drink or take Klonopin or something to be like, okay, is this just in my head and I'm anxiety? So I would do these anti-anxiety situations, and basically I would just be drunk and having a chemical reaction. So a lot of it was the chemicals, because if you're drunk, you're not going to be having psychosomatic illnesses. It was terrible to be drunk and reacting. Ugh. But sometimes, if I would take a little bit of that pill, I would be okay. So sometimes it was, there's a fine line. Sometimes it was a bit on the psychological side. And I mean, I hate to say it, but there are different kind of psychologies that goes along with the chemical sensitivity. I think it gets a little OCD too. Like, you get very focused on the chemicals, and you have to have everything, like control of your environment, which you actually do need. Like, it's not psychological, but sometimes it can be a bit of a overlap, making things a little bit worse than they need to be. So a lot of my healing involved finding ways to calm myself down, finding ways to remind myself that I was not in danger, finding myself ways to tell myself that I was well and I would be okay and I'm not threatened by all of these toxins. Doesn't mean I want to go like sit in a room that was just freshly painted. Of course, I avoid the toxins, because the less toxins you have in your body, the more good you will feel, or better, as they say in English. So yeah. Yeah, so a lot of it was that, calming the nervous system down, which, in the end, the nervous system is putting toxins into your body, like straight up toxins. When you're stressed, toxins are going into your body. So I think, the stress can be a huge part of it, of that, and probably any other illness. So you learn how to be calm. All that. It's pretty hard for some of us. There's like fight or flight. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fight, So, let's see. I'm not gonna stay on too long because I have my thing. Let me try to. It's 555. I do coaching if you need special help one-on-one, but also you can come into these rooms. I'm going to keep trying to put different times for people who live in different time zones. Oh, one more thing. I do believe in the link or my meetup group. I'm offering yoga, 1 month of yoga for free every day. You can do a half an hour, or you can do an hour. You can even do 15 minutes. You can come and go as you please with me. I'm a very, relaxed, laid back kind of personality. So you just come in and go out. None of the yoga that I'm doing is going to hurt you. If you've never done any kind of exercise, talk to your doctor. If you don't know your body, hopefully, if you've done a little bit of exercise or just living life, if something hurts, don't do it. Do less of it. Go gentle, start slow. Don't try to be macho and show off, because nobody's really watching anyway. So you can come every day, 8 to 9 Eastern time, but you have to text me and let me know that you're coming. You can find me through my meetup, and that would be great if you come. I do Wim Hof breathing at 11. No, I switched it to 12. I used to do 11:30 for a long time. Noon, 12 to 12:30, we do Wim Hof breathing, and then 8-minute abs, and then arms or legs for 1/2 hour. We chit chat a little bit while we're doing arms. It's fun. And you can also leave any time. You come and go. You do what you want, and you do your level. Like some people, you can start as slow as you want. It doesn't matter how slow. If you do 10 breaths Wim Hof and you're done, that's fine, because the important thing is just to move forward. That's the important thing on healing. Just never give up, and just try to take one little step forward. You know, if you take a tiny little step forward, you know, one day you're going to take a big step, you know, and another big step, and then maybe little steps for a long time. Like, that's really the key, is just to show up. And Will Rogers said 90% of life is showing up. And I've always taken that as my sort of philosophy, and that's what I do. I just show up, come on my video. I got all kinds of, you know, whatever issues. I can't remember stuff. Maybe I'm not dressed right. I don't know. Just show up, and I'm sure something good is going to happen. You got to have courage in this life. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to get rid of all of these things, you know, that we were taught growing up, that, you know, how we feel doesn't matter just as long as we act good. There's a lot of things that are keeping us in a bad place. But I digress. So chemical sensitivity, I did everything in Sherry Rogers' books. I read the Detox or Die, Wellness, Something at Any Cost. It was very hard for me to read those books, especially back then. I had terrible ADD, mind wandering everywhere. But I did it because I really wanted to get well. And I took however much vitamin C and glutathione, alpha-lipoic acid, coffee enemas, molybdenum. That was a basic. Get rid of all the toxins everywhere in your house, especially in your bedroom, especially cover your mattress. If you can't afford a non-toxic mattress, you can cover your mattress you have with old blankets, because they put a lot of that flame retardant and different chemicals in there. Then you cover up that with an organic sheet. And you just take a little, it took me a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to go through your house and detox it, you know. When you use paint, you got to use that least toxic paint. And there's some completely non-toxic paint. I use that. Now, sometimes I just use the least toxic one at the store. And little by little, you start to learn the things that are toxic, like candles. When I first had chemical sensitivity, I just didn't know, like, all the things I would react to. Now I know, and I should make a list. Like, candles are really bad. Incense, perfume, cleaners, gasoline, exhaust. Like, if I would ever be driving in traffic, you know, and you're stopped in traffic. Even in a good car, there's more exhaust that's coming up, you know, into the car when you're not moving. So many things. Learn to avoid and mitigate. Epsom salts baths are amazing. That's another thing that I like to repeat also, is that this goes back to the subject of, you know, doctors, maybe even if they did know how to heal you, they can't tell you all the stuff you need to know. And also, they don't know your temperament. Are you going to even follow any of it? I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, and you know, only a percentage actually do the things that I suggest. And part of the reason is because they just seem too weird and too simple. Because really, you know, what I learned is that a lot of the best healing modalities are actually completely free. You know, we don't need to go to this, you know, $10,000 clinic. And for that $10,000, like the amazing things you could buy for your healing. I mean, I did it that way because I only had a certain amount of money when I was sick. And so I would just spend on like the basic. But things like breathing, grounding, meditation, yoga, vitamin C, baking soda, turmeric, like, oh, here's a really cool tip too. This is a money-saving tip, but it's also a quality tip. Say, you know, there's very expensive supplements, right? They can be very expensive. I spend so much money on supplements. But a lot of what I did too was like, just if you see this thing, oh, detox, cleanse, you know. Actually, a friend of mine was telling me some brain supplement she took. I'll just be like, well, what's in it? You know, look at the side, look at the ingredients, and then you can get that ingredient. Like, say if you have like Intestinal cleanse is almost always psyllium husk, which is the cheapest thing on the face of the earth. Or because I have like a pound of turmeric, like if I'm not feeling well or if I have some kind of illness or I want to do anti-inflammatory, when I was healing my brain from H. pylori, I would just put a teaspoon in there. Herbs, any kind of herbs. You grow some herbs in your garden, window, or buy them by the pound. Get the Frontier kind is the best because it used to be this way, although things are always changing, but it used to be non-irradiated and organic. So sometimes when they put stuff through the radiator, it can lose a lot of its qualities. Damn, nobody came for like 3 days. But first I had some people popping in. Well, I'm going to keep at it until I figure out what's going on. It's a little weird out there. One of my friends lost her Facebook page. Because she wrote something about, oh, look, there's somebody. Oh, B12. Okay. Girl, I'm going to tell you how to get energy. I don't know if you're a girl, probably, because live, love, and learn naturally. Generally female type of thing we would say. All right, I got so sidetracked. So I got somebody. I'm so excited. Now I'll probably forget. I have another Zoom for my book, 60-Minute Startup. You want to start your own business at home. This guy, Ramesh Danta, wrote the original book, and I created the workbook that goes along with it. I'm going to do some masterminds. Yeah, energy is the most important thing. I don't know if you had a chance to, Frederica, that's a cool name. Where are you from? Yeah, if you come in, just put where you're from. Smash the likes, hit subscribe, and hit the, hit all, because that way you'll get, oh, nice. Manchester. I was an exchange student in Newcastle upon Tyne, and one of my good friends was from Manchester. Cool. I haven't been there since I was then 19 years old. That was a long time ago. Manchester. I love all that tea. So energy is great. B12 is great. B vitamins are great. But yeah, so this is what I'm saying. We were always saying this in the videos before. Manchester. I'm going to show you my red light device. I have it in the link below. But you want energy, get this thing. Oh my God. It does everything. Yeah, the whole point is to get the energy back. I have a lot of energy now, but I used to didn't have any energy. Even when I was like 12 years old, I was always kind of low energy. I think it was, I was very sensitive and I was eating all that candy. So I have this amazing red light device. And this one's the expensive one, but I paid for it over a year and didn't really notice it. But besides being amazingly anti-inflammatory, I just finally got one of my best friends to get one. You can it actually puts energy into your body, like ATP from the sun. Well, it's not from the sun, but ATP is what, when the sun hits your vegetables and the cow eats it or whatever, and then you eat the food, that's converted into ATP, which is energy. So a lot of healing is that we need a lot of energy, and the sicker we are, the less energy we have, which is why people are laying in bed before they die, we have to reverse and find ways to really retain our energy. And this is my number one best thing for energy. Like when I first got it, I didn't get it for that. I got it because I was having trouble with my knees. Were swollen. And I'm a dancer, so I didn't need any swollen knees. And also I like to walk and get up from my chair. I have a red light. Actually, that's the opposite for sleeping. Blue light wakes you up and red light gives you sleeping. So there, joint pain. Yeah, a lot of joint pain. A lot of these things all go together. A lot of toxins settle in the joints, cause inflammation and pain. So with this thing, I got it for that, but I was still, even after I got healed from my chemical sensitivity, I really didn't have depression anymore, but I had depression. And now I look back, I think it might have just been the low energy. Like, it just doesn't feel like doing stuff. I'm like, what's the point? And when you have a negative emotions or life is too hard, that also saps your energy. So it's always like a downward spiral. When you get sick or anything, like it just gets worse and worse until you find a way to spiral back up. But yeah. Yeah, I haven't had any joint pain, not even one, since I got this red light. And as I said earlier, I had a terrible injury. I was assaulted. I had a neck, spine, and head injury. And I can't imagine recovering without that. But it actually puts energy in your body. So I first had it, I would still get a little lazy in the afternoon or just a little bit sleepy. And just not feel like doing anything. You know that feeling. It's not like you hate life where you're just like, and I will lay in the bed and I will have that thing in my bed next to me and I'll turn it on. And within about 5-10 minutes, I will be like, hey, what are we going to do now? Like, it's amazing for energy. So there's so many things for energy. I do believe in grounding in nature. Yeah, postnatal depression. Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, hormonal disruptions. Huge. I mean, it's huge also with chemical sensitivity. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to read the comment because I watch another lady on YouTube. Okay, she says, we went through that from postnatal depression and it lasted 12 years. She also said she had joint pain, and she also said she tried red light in her bedroom and her daughter said it's the worst light to try and sleep with and made me change to blue. So yeah, the hormones is a huge thing. Like, and just I think in our modern society, between the stress, the GMOs, the food, the water, the EMFs, the cell phones, like those of us who are sensitive, some people are just sturdy and they can handle anything. And those of us who are sensitive have to really find ways to mitigate, these exterior stressors and also balance the hormones. Have you ever had your hormones checked? I actually never have. Back when I was sick, I wanted to do it, but it was like $500 and I didn't have that at the time allotted for that. I've never actually done it, but it's because I feel good now. I don't really feel like I need to check anything, but you don't need to check it too. You can just get different kind of creams and hormones and play around with them. It's not going to kill you. Yeah, you could just try stuff, especially like progesterone, because in our society, there's a thing a lot of us have estrogen dominance. I'm going to say this and then I think I better go because I'm going to do something in 10 minutes. Estrogen dominance, there's a lot of toxins are hormone mimickers and estrogen mimickers. So it's their pesticides have a reaction in the body like estrogen, which is why a lot of us are carrying a lot of weight and have these love handles everywhere and man boobs and erectile dysfunctions and ovarian cancer and breast cancer. I mean, I of course, if we're being barraged with this extra hormone 365, it's going to have an effect. And so there's estrogen. So it would be an estrogen dominance. I'm just like making this up, but at the moment, but it makes perfect sense. So progesterone is like, it balances the estrogen. Like that's why people, when they have a lot of birth control pills, these are things I've read. I'm not a doctor, but I have read extensively on this. If you have a birth control pills or the estrogen pills, they don't actually have progesterone, which is why sometimes people can get cancer or whatever from that. But progesterone is like this you can get like a plant-based cream or something, and I don't think there's any way it could possibly hurt you. It's just like wild yam, but it will maybe level out that hormone. Yes, I do. I personally believe, I have talked about this, I do believe that the incredible amount of fibroids, endometriosis, prostate, I do believe it's all from the hormone disruptors. I think it's a huge issue, especially, any kind of dairy and any kind of meats that has also, you know, conventional, they call it here, because they give these animals tons of hormones. And sometimes people in Europe think they don't have that in Europe, but pretty much you do. I don't know if you have as much as we have, but the EU is just as tricky as the US. You know, they don't want people worrying about stuff. Yeah, there's a thing called DIM. Get this for your fibroids if you have them. That's not medical advice, of course, because I haven't even had 1 year of medical school. But it comes from broccoli. You can eat tons of broccoli and cruciferous vegetables. But there's a thing that's called DIM, and it comes from broccoli. And it's supposed to be amazing. Like, it totally balances out the hormones and the estrogen. And I have so much to start taking it again. It's something that we should all take. Let's see. Do they call fibroids? Oh, we do. They just hide it. Oh, yeah, I know. When you're 9 years old, gets boobs, I'm sure it's hormones. Exactly, because, yeah. I mean, it's in the water. You know, all of these people taking all these pills and hormones, and it's also in the water. It's in everything. So healing up your hormones is very, very essential. I have to run, but I'm so happy you came. And I'm going to try to stream every day. I'm going to try to do different times so that people in Europe can come, people in Australia, and we can have a lot of fun healing. So please invite your friends if you want to. I do believe I have a link for this book where we're going to talk about, this book gives you like everything you need to know to start a business and get your first paying customer in 30 days. It's an amazing book. So I'm starting a mastermind group. I do a lot of business type things, entrepreneurial things. So it's a free question and answers. All right, cute. So great to see you. So good to see everybody. Stay good. I think it's true about that progesterone. Why don't you just get some of that cream and then like let me know how it goes. It's one of the few supplements that I have. I don't do a lot of supplements now, but like DIM. DHEA is also supposed to be very good for hormone regulation. DHEA. It's also another thing I take. I don't really take anything anymore. I get tired of swallowing pills, but I do have that in there. Very good for you. It's supposed to be good for losing weight. It's supposed to be good for fertility. It's good for fertility. It's good for losing weight. It's going to be good for your body. Because this means your body's metabolizing, your body's fertile, it's ready to go. All right. TTYL. Peace out, everyone. Ciao.